Today we have a really special guest, a student of ours. Since 2017 to 2020, silver medalist OSN 2019 in physics, silver medalist KSM 2019 in physics, and bronze medalist in OSN 2018 in physics. But the achievement of Bang Ilham Darni extend far beyond that. He attended KAIST University in South Korea since 2020 to 2024, a double major in mechanical engineering and business technology management. Graduated cum laude with a GPA of 3.71 out of 4.30. A KAIST Global Leadership Award 2024 in the service category, President of KAIST International Students Association in 2023, Head of KAIST Indonesia Community from August to December of 2022, Undergraduate Lab Intern in KAIST Fluids and Interface Laboratory, Summer 2023, and Undergraduate Lab Intern in KAIST Applied Fluid Mechanics Laboratory, Summer 2022. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video of our school podcast, the podcast where we dive into our amazing alumni and find out what makes them tick. I am Teguh Dilna Ali, a student here at Fatih Bilingual School. I am super excited for today's episode. Today we have a special guest, Bang Ilham Darni. Bang Ilham is not just any former student. He's a double major graduate from KAIST, South Korea in mechanical engineering and business and technology management. He's got a stellar academic record, graduating cum laude with a GPA of 3.71, and he's won numerous awards, including the prestigious KAIST Global Leadership Award for his exceptional service. Plus, he was the president of the KAIST International Students Associations and headed the KAIST Indonesian community. But Bang Ilham journey started right here in Fatih, just like ours. He's here to share his story, give us some insight into his experiences, and hopefully inspire all of us to reach for the stars. So sit back, relax, and get into it. So, Assalamualaikum Bang Ilham.
Waalaikumsalam.
So before we truly start our podcast, do you have anything to say to the people or students that are admiring you and watching this podcast at home?
I don't have a lot to say really, and admiring is an exaggeration. But yeah, I hope that this podcast, like whoever is watching, can learn a thing or two or get inspired or something. Hopefully it helps.
Okay. Of course, I believe that a lot of us at home watching this podcast are admiring people like you and want to follow your path, becoming a student that is studying in an international university outside of Indonesia. So what I want to ask first is, what got you interested in physics or science in high school? Because I know KAIST is a university that searches for students that excels in science and physics. Stuff like that not every students are interested to in the first place. Was there a special moment or person that inspired you to excel in physics or science?
Well, I've always been interested in math and science since elementary, really. But I really got started my admiration in physics since middle school here in Fatih, where actually, if I name one person, shout out to Mr. Bia. He was a teacher here. Now he moved. He really amazed me on how he explained what is physics itself. And it basically combines the theoretical mathematical formulas that you study that you might think doesn't really have a lot of use because it's just more theory. But it tries to explain the everyday phenomenon in nature, like how the universe works and all that stuff. And when I just learned about it, I was like, wow, this is cool. And yeah, from that point on, I just continued to study it. I basically like how it's an intersection between theoretical math and understanding things around us.
I'm sure that helped you. We also know that you are an achiever in Olympiad competition, right?
Yeah.
I also want to ask you about preparing for the Science Olympiad must have been tough. How did you do it? Or any tips or resources that help you might want to share to the audience of this podcast?
Well, if we're talking about resources, then my suggestion would firstly be look at the past papers. The past papers of Olympiads, whether it's here nationally or even like in other countries, because they will definitely help. And in terms of strategies, like I could talk all day there because Olympiad itself is not something that you can explain in a few minutes. But basically, to put it short, just make sure you give enough time for yourself to study because Olympiad is it's a significant amount of work, and so make sure there's enough time for you to prepare yourself.
Significant amount of work, right? Okay. So I'm sure you faced some challenges while getting ready for the Olympiads. What were they, and how did you deal with them?
Yeah, I guess one of the most challenging things is, like I said, the strategies and those tips, they're actually quite important for you to do your best in Olympiad. But thing is, in my experience in high school, at the time there weren't a lot of people who were very familiar with and experienced in Olympiad, at least to the higher up levels, the national levels, and etc. And so one of the challenges was really finding the right people to learn with and to prepare myself with. I actually was able to do that, even though if it costed money and etc. Visiting and going to like Olympiad courses, Olympiad camps that are actually like way on the others, like on different island in Java, and even though that's actually kind of hard because we live in Aceh and it's actually very far away. But since I really wanted to do that and learn Olympiad, I just tried it, and I'm glad. There was a lot of things that I learned from it and really helped.
At first, do you really want to study physics or, joining all the Olympiad camps that you talk about just for winning the Olympiad? Or do you think that, winning the Olympiad will help you to apply for KAIS, for example, or apply for top universities around the world? What is your inspiration at the first place?
Let's not just say KAIS directly, because at the time I wasn't planning exactly to KAIS, but I always knew that, learning isn't just for like one thing. And so my preparation for the Olympiad wasn't just to get a medal and that's it, finished. Because in reality, and I realized that it's proven up to this point, all of those knowledge that I gained, it helped me towards getting accepted to good universities like KAIS, and it actually helped me in my studies during the university. And so yeah, basically learning, even though it costs money, but it's an investment, and if you do it right, then you're gonna get good things from it.
So transitioning from winning Olympiad in Indonesian high school onto a KAIS university in South Korea, I am really curious. Applying to KAIS is no small feat. What was your approach to the application process, and how did you showcase your achievement?
Yeah, so different universities probably have like different exact characteristics of students that they want. And so basically one of the things I did was talk to the people who knew KAIS more, whether it's the students there or the alumni and etc., and try to get to the bottom of it. And basically what I concluded was KAIS just really wants students who are good in math and science and are also dedicated to improve themselves. So what I basically did in my application is try to prove to them that one, I am quite good in math and science, and that's with the Olympiad. And second of all, through those essays, I tried to convince them that I am someone who will fight for it and try to improve myself as much as possible.
Oh, okay. Really inspirational, I think. Many of us are, are still trying in high school to achieve what you achieve. But transitioning from high school in Indonesia to KAIS in South Korea must still have been a big change. What were the biggest adjustments that you have to make?
Yeah, I guess we can group into two. The first one is about the academics. And on that point, I realized that there's actually quite a gap between Indonesian high school standards and South Korean high school standards. Because the thing is that first, in South Korea, you're expected, if you've graduated high school, you've expected to understand quite a high level of calculus. That's not really a thing in Indonesian high school. thank goodness because of that Olympiad again. So this is connecting to before, because I stayed in physics Olympiad. I already learned those calculus stuff, even though it wasn't taught in high school, and that was what helped me to adjust. The other thing, which was actually difficult for me, was that South Koreans in general, when they get into university, they already know a lot about coding and basic programming. And so I had to take a class of, it's called basic programming, but it's not really basic programming. And I never tried doing Python or any of those computer languages in high school. And so I had to learn from scratch, and that actually added quite a lot of time for me to adjust. And finally, the second thing is about not exactly academic, but more of ways of mentally and accepting reality. Because the thing is that in high school, we have absolute grading, where if you just study then and you make sure to memorize everything, you can get 100. But in KAIS, in the university, they use relative grading, and what that means is that to get an A+, you need to be like maybe top 5% of the class. And then if you want to get a B, you need to be at least like 50% and stuff like that. And so it's possible that even though you really work that hard, if people are better than you, then you might still get a low grade. And so yeah, those changes are quite tough, but I'm happy I kind of adjust to them. Yeah.
So, but I think that adjustment that you did turns out great, right? Graduating cum laude is amazing. What study habits or routines did you develop at KAIS that help you to succeed, that maybe audiences of this podcast could, imitate the thing that you do?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's something that I developed in KAIS, and more in line of, it's actually what I've been doing here from high school, especially for Olympiad. Because the thing is, I don't really think there's like secret tricks and stuff like that. Like I said before, it's a lot about time management, and so just make sure that you allocate enough time every day, specific hours for you to do those studies, for you to study, and etc. And hopefully by that, you can do it.
Yeah, allocating time, right? Actually, before this podcast, we are talking with Bantana Abi. Do you remember Bantana Abi? And
yeah.
Bantana Abi said, every night, we have etude, right? And Bantana Abi remember that every night until 12 at midnight, you are still in the class. The class will still have lights on, and inside there is you still studying.
You was talking about me?
Yeah, even after midnight. Yeah, I'm sure you allocate much time, especially to study in KAIS. Continuing with the next question then. As the head of the KAIS Indonesian community, what project were you most proud of? Or how did these roles help your leadership skills?
Well, to be honest, most of the difficulties weren't really as me being head of the Indonesian community. I would say being the president of KISA, the International Student Association, costed more time. But for the Indonesian community itself, I mean, the main goal of that is to make sure that we as community, Indonesian students in South Korea, have a good bond with each other and strong relationships, right? And so we basically did stuff like you can expect welcoming party for freshmen, graduating party for the ones who are graduating, as well as things like gatherings, stuff like that. And so really it's about bonding, and just when you're stressed with academics, you have friends and family to help you with. Things I'm a bit proud of, changes I made was that I actually restructured the organization a bit. I added a new division, which was alumni division, so that we can also focus more on alumni. I also reorganized it so that we use Google Drive more actively, so that the documentation is better, as well as reactivated our Instagram account, just so the PR and stuff.
That sounds like it takes a lot of time. How did you do all of that while still excelling in academic? Balancing academics with leadership roles and extracurricular activities must have been challenging. How did you manage it all and still excel in all of those branches?
Honestly speaking, it doesn't take that too much time.
Oh.
Not as long as you might think of, because again, the thing is, I think the secret is like time efficiency. Like for those organizations, like, and the leadership of that, like you might think that like you have to have like meetings every day that would cost hours, and then you would have to do it until midnight. But honestly, if everything is smooth and you know how people work, like you can do it like 1 or max 2 hours meetings per week, and just make sure that everything runs smooth. And so as long as you can do it correctly, you can like manage organization and leadership on top of your academics. Because what I'm really thankful for was that all of my friends in KAIS, we all agree, in university, number one is studying. Leadership, that can be number 2. And so we all agree, okay, maximum 1 hour meeting, maximum 2 hour meetings. Let's just make sure we get the projects done. Let's not waste time with politics and being angry with each other. No, let's just do the good, important things.
Oh, okay. But for students who wants to take on leadership roles at university, what advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, so I would give 2 possible advice depending on the circumstance of their organization. If they want to be part of leadership in an organization that's not really time efficient, let's say, my advice would be don't be afraid to change the culture, because really you don't need to waste that much time in leadership. You can make it all more efficient, and if you want to do that, I'm pretty sure most of your friends will be with you, because they're also thinking like, oh, why am I wasting so much time? And so don't be afraid to change the culture and improve it. And second of all, if in the organization itself it's already efficient to begin with, then my suggestion would be like, if you want to be a good leader, maybe my advice would be first of all, when you come to the organization, be observant and know what you can help improve with the organization. And second of all, make sure you understand the people you work with.
So looking back, what key lessons or values have you taken from your experiences in high school and at KAIS University?
Yeah, so I guess I already hinted on it before, and we can repeat it again. First of all, it's about time management. That helped a lot, because like when I was in high school, in Olympiad, time management was really important, about how I made sure I gave input enough time for studying. And that also applies to university, like with time management, just don't waste your time. You can do multiple stuff. On top of academics, you can do leadership, you can do extracurriculars, and etc. And then the second of all is definitely about having good connections and meeting the right people. Because I learned much about being successful in the Olympiad by meeting great people and understanding where to study. It's all coming from them. And how I got into KAIS, that's also in terms of like meeting people. And in KAIS, like learning what can be the best, that's also with communicating with who knows better, etc. And so, managing your time well and having good relationships with people.
Okay, I think after this podcast, I'll improve my relationships and more, being more grateful having the opportunity to meet someone like you. So after looking back, let's look forward then. What are your future aspirations, both professionally and personally? How do you plan to keep growing in your field?
So I'm continuing my master's now, and I'm pretty sure later on whether I would go to a company first and be a research engineer or directly become a PhD. My future might probably be in research, in academia, being a professor, and etc. Of course, in terms of leadership, that might play in part. Maybe I could lead projects or be at higher ups in the university, or several opportunities can happen. It pretty much boils down to what I can get, what's the best for me, and I will look at the tides.
Oh, okay. So, coming on to the last question of this podcast that I'll give to you. For high school student who wants to follow a similar path in science or leadership, what advice would you give to them?
Yeah, Probably the same lessons that I learned. Again, one is make sure to not waste your time, because again, if I expand on it, yeah, okay. So Bandana Abi said I studied until midnight. The other things were like I prepared myself for senior Olympiad in senior high school since middle school, and I prepared it from the 7th grade, and I make sure to just continuously add those on. And so whatever extra time you get, and you're like bored, like you don't even want to spend it on sleeping or doing other stuff, there's like empty time, you can do it to improve yourself. And second of all, yeah, make sure to build yourself and have good connections and relationships with people. I mean, specifically like social media these days, that can help a lot. Don't use social media just to play, but also to find and connect with the right people, and various other ways are possible. Because again, in the future, having relations is really helpful for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bang Ilham, for the opportunity today.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, we are on the closing of our podcast now. So, do you have anything to say to the audience you might want to say at the end?
Yeah, so I guess I just like to say thank you for having me here. I hope I helped you or maybe inspired you in some ways. Again, really, like I said, I was just like a student here like you a few years ago, so I'm pretty sure that those of you watching, students in Fatih or anybody else, can achieve great things in possibly near future even. Just work on it.
Okay, thank you so much, Bang Ilham. You are an amazing alumni of our school. Really appreciate the opportunity that you give to me to meet you today. Okay, thank you, Bang.
Sure, no problem.
So that's all of our podcast. Thank you so much guys for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.